What's up, friends and family of the channel? This is Pastor Bob. I want to do something a little different today. Kind of give you guys a insight of how you can save a little bucks if you're getting into modding your guitar or building a guitar for the first time or trying to get some tools together. Look, I know that things can be expensive sometimes. And so what I do is I quality check certain different manufacturers and different places for the sale of like type uh, tools or modifications or things that you can use to enhance the look or upgrade the capabilities of your guitars or instruments in general. So I'm going to tell you what you see in front of you. Uh, I paid $40 for. I got a good deal from AliExpress. I wait until certain things go on sale and I get certain perks for doing it when you spend, quite a bit of money over time. So I'll show you what I got. And you guys can compare these prices to other prices that I have. And this is like, half to a quarter of the price. And I'll show you why on some of the items. So I'll start up here in the top right hand corner. These are real mother of pearl. Now, tell you a little story. I have purchased these before, and they're great inlays, right? I mean, you can see the mother of pearl. And how you know it's real mother of pearl is when you look on the back. Look at that. Some of this mother of pearl is really nice. So, I think there's like 50 pieces in there. I can't remember how many grams, but anybody that deals with mother of pearl knows it gets expensive, and it's pretty nice size. It's nice and thick, so it'd be great for inlay work. I got a couple of those. I'm getting them back in here. I gotta hurry up because I got some subscribers. They get antsy if I spend more than 38.5 seconds explaining something. Next down here is bridge pins, brass bridge pins. Look at that little guitar. Now, what this tool is for is to take the bridge pins out. Now, brass bridge pins give you gives a different tonality to your guitar. It resonates different, right? So you'll definitely hear a difference in the frequency. Now, depending on how your guitar or instrument is tuned, especially a violin, has a lot to do with the depth of the sound or the treble. So whether you got more of a bass end sound or whether you have more of a treble sound. And there's a lot of things that are involved in that. But one of the modifications that I can tell people and recommend to them is try using brass. A lot of people use brass on a lot of different types of instruments, and it elevates the sound differently. And it may change it one way or another for you. You'll just have to try it, and I think this is a pretty good option. Just keep your eyes open on AliExpress and see what the deals are. And sometimes you can get these for around maybe $6 or so. Anywhere from $4 to $6. Down here, these are handles for files. I have a bunch of files, and I use different, even though it's the same file, which are Nicholas files. I use different ones for different things. So I thought maybe what I'll do is I'll get a bunch of these handles, which cost me, I think, $3 or $4, something like that. And I'll just mark on the end, right? I'll put something on the end, different colors, so I'll know which ones they're for, So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I could have made them out in my shop on my lathe, but why set everything up and do everything unless I was going to do them exotic colors, which I could still do. I can use this as a pattern, and I can make some out of Coca-Cola, some out of Purple Heart, some out of ebony, some out of walnut. And that way I'll know exactly which ones those files are for. Some people use one single file for doing all of it, but I don't. I have specific things, and that way I can keep track of how long a file lasts for doing that specific job. Okay, next up, look, I love these things. Now, these are sponge. I think they cost me $1 for these two. Now, I was hesitant, but I've used these for buffing the frets because there's different grit, right? I can't remember what the grit is on them, but they work great, guys. Do they last long? You probably get a couple of guitars out of one of them if you're, being careful. You just got to watch the lips on the end because they like to come up, and the way to fix that is to put a little super glue along the ends before you start. Put a little super glue on there and let it set overnight. I mean, you probably don't need to let it sit overnight, but that's what I suggest you do. Put a little super glue on the ends, and it'll keep them ends really secure, so that way when you're going back and forth across the fretboard, it doesn't flip them off because the glue isn't, probably the highest grade glue. But these are a must for as cheap as they are. Next up is these. Now, we have 1,000, let's see, we have 1,000 grit, 1,200 grit, 1,500 grit, 2,000 grit, and 2,500 grit. Now, what these are is individual sandpaper, okay, on rubber bags. See that? And it has a sticky bag. Now, you can put these on anything, pieces of wood. You can contour it however you want. Maybe you want a special contour to these because they will contour to any angle, right? And I seen these, and I think this was like $7, I think. These were $7. And there's 30 pieces. So there's 6 of each pad. Which I like them. I give you a nice little case with it. And so if you're trying to make a specific angle, maybe you're trying to get something and you make something on a 90-degree angle, or maybe you're going to do a 30. I don't know. I mean, it all depends. Like if you're doing the edges, right, the tangs, you might want to make something special out of wood and do them, use these to buff up the ends. Good idea. You use them for just about anything. Use them for working the nut saddles on acoustic guitars. They could be used for anything, but I thought that was a great buy. Especially that they already have adhesive on the back, so it's easy just to, at least I think it's got adhesive on it. Maybe it don't. Thought it did. Wait a minute. I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. Whether it does or not is not, I don't need to take that off anyway. What I'll do is I'll just put a few drops of super glue on it to whatever I'm going to do. I'm just going to use them to buff the top of the frets, or do nuts. That's all I'm going to do. Next up, this is a electronics kit. Now, I've purchased these before from AliExpress, and they work pretty good. They're not bad. Not bad at all. So you got a low pass where you can go right into a PA system, and then just a regular plug-in, 9-volt battery. And then you have your coupler that fits underneath your bridge, right? Underneath your nut on your bridge for your acoustic. And then you have a 5-band EQ with a digital display with a tuner. And I paid, I can't remember, I think it was like $7 for this. $6 or $7 for this. Can't remember. It wasn't expensive, and I thought, oh, I can pick up one of those. They're not bad. I've used them before. So if you have an inexpensive acoustic guitar job that you want to do, and you want to make it electronic, whether you're doing it to sell it or upgrade it, or maybe you have just a regular acoustic and you want to make an electric acoustic, and it's not a really expensive one, this is probably a good way for you to go about it, right? Last but not least, these. Now, if you're a Strat player, these are probably going to be one of the most helpful things for you. It takes a little time to set them up. They make two types. They make singles and they make doubles for these. And I'll show you a SKU number. Where you can see where it's made. Okay. So these are stabilizers. And what happens is of course you have to set this up. But they're beautifully milled, as you can see. And what you do is you set these. So you have these little ball ends. If you look, it pushes down on the spring when you set them, right? So you set you know how some tremolos come back quick because of the spring tension? Well, what you can do is you can set these so that the spring tension is a little bit more, right? So that way you know that you're going to come right back to to tune, right? But the great thing about these is you can adjust these, right? If you look. Okay, you can adjust these for how much tension you want, how far out you want to go with these. See? So, if you want to pick these up, now I'm going to tell you something right now. I seen these, the same ones. And how I know is I bought one just to test it, right? And then I looked and I don't know where it is. I think I might have used it in somebody's guitar, but I'd show you the comparison. And I was like, that is the same exact one as I use. Same exact one. Same type of materials. But on eBay it was $29, right? I got these for $7 a piece. That is a super good deal, right? Super good deal on these. I got two of them. I should have got more, but I didn't want to overdo it. But yeah, these are awesome if you've never used them. And I don't know if they have any, I'm sure they do, demonstrations on how to install them on online. But if they don't, I might take a guitar one of these days and I'll do a demonstration for you how to install these. They're not hard to install. I mean, you got to fiddly fart around with them to adjust them. But yeah, I thought you guys would be interested in that. So goodbye. So their prices change all the time. All the time. Prices change on stuff. So keep your eyes peeled, and I'm sure that uh, you'll catch them when they go on sale again, or it may be on sale right now. So yeah, that's what I got. I did pretty well for 40 bones for all this stuff. I think I paid $2.99 for shipping and then tax, of course. You know they gotta have the tax, right? Gotta get taxed. because the people up there in whatever state you live in, they got to get fed, right? They got to steal a little money and, increase their wealth. I guess I don't need to tell you about that. But anyway, yeah. So I did good. I mean, these alone, right? I've seen packages of these. Real mother of pearl, right? Go for $20 a piece, easy. And we know that I've seen them on eBay for $29. I mean, that probably is a little bit high, but for the same thing. So if you're paying $20 a piece, 20, 40, we'll just say these that 20, 60, 80. There's $80 right there. These, if you was to buy them in the store, probably $3 a piece. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. There's another $30. So there's 110. You're going to pay at least $10, $15 for these, right? And these, well, I could easily pay $20 for them. And of course, these are only $1, but you could easily pay $10, $15 for a pickup set. So 20, 40, 60, 80, right? 95. Let's see, 95. We'll say $10 on these, right? 105. Another 20, 125. $155, $156. You could easily spend $156 on them, right? I got it off of, less than $50. So, how are you going wrong? People say, oh, material ain't the same. I don't know about that, guys. I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of it has to do with how you work the tools too, right? If you're like a bull in a china shop with everything that you do, and you get frustrated, and then you try to dig in, well, of course, things ain't going to work right. But if you take your time, you have a little patience, and I would tell you that you should have a little patience. I know sometimes it's hard. And yeah, on certain projects, like solid bodies, you can have a little less patience on a solid body for certain things. I mean, when you're fine tuning something, of course, you got to have patience. Then acoustics, or mandolins, or violins, or cellos, or fiddles, things like that. They require, attention to detail and a little more finesse. So, I just know that this stuff will work out great for me, so why spend extra? And as soon as I redo my shop out there, I'm going to go over some of the different tools that I use for lutherie, for cabinet making, for building in general, and I'll go over them and tell you some of the prices on it. Some things that you can't buy. I have tools out there that you cannot buy no more, okay? Unless somebody owns one and you can buy it from them. And they're very expensive, So outside of those things, I mean, the other tools are pretty common. And I'll go over that stuff with you because I know that some people might say, oh, well, it costs a lot of money to buy certain tools and to get into Lutherie and, to become a guitar tech. Not really. You don't have to have every tool under the sun, and you don't have to have the most expensive tool, right? Just because it says StewMac on it, which StewMac has good tools, don't get me wrong, doesn't mean that StewMac isn't purchasing or having some of their stuff made outside of the United States. And you might get the same quality, same thing, made in the same factory, who knows, right? For half the price. You just got to know. You got to shop. And that's really what it comes down to, There are some things that I will only buy from StewMac because I know that it costs more to have that certain tool manufactured. But other things, you can go outside the realm and get it. And I think you should. If you really want to get into this, you got to be smart, right? You got to think, okay, I spend the least amount that I can. Some tools you want to buy the best, period. Other tools you can get away with not owning the best. Uh, some of them might require a little bit more work for you, but in the end, it'll save a few bucks in your pocket, right? That's what's really important. And I'll go over that stuff with you as soon as I get my shop reorganized and I figure out exactly what the hell I'm doing out there. Because I'm going to put a door in and I got to move some things around, take a bench out, move a bench. It's just going to be one of those shit shows. But regardless of that, I will go over some of the tools and how you can shop for them and where I've shopped for some of my tools. Some of them were a long, long time ago, and I mean, I wouldn't know what to say or where to buy them. But yeah, I'll be happy to do that for you because I know some people out there, I've gotten some private messages. Jesus, Pastor Bob, how much does it cost? Well, my tools out there probably, I don't know, I probably got $30,000 at least invested in tools. But I've got a lot of tools. I got tools brand new in the box, right? I got tools downstairs, upstairs, outside. I mean, I just have a lot of tools, right? Because I like tools, like I like guitars. So, I'm a little extravagant, but I can at least show you what the basic tools are that you should be looking for, waiting for go on sale, and purchase. Which ones are important in Luthiery to get started? I'd need to know what type of part of the Luthiery that you want to get into. Are you going to get into just doing solid body guitars, acoustic guitars, mandolins, violins, cellos? What you're going to get into really does matter on some of the tools that you'd need to buy because there's tools specific for specific things, right? And whether you believe that or not, it is true. Like violins, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on Luthiery tools for violins. There are some specific tools that, they'll shake the tree, as they say. So, but I'll get into that with you, and I'll show you how you can save a little money and cut some corners, and what cutting corners is going to actually do if you cut that corner. In other words, how much time you might have to put into something. So, and I'll be happy to do that. But I hope you all like my my little bargain hunt that I got. I thought it was a great deal. Please like, share, subscribe if you would, please. I'm trying to get to 1,000. It would be a nice little achievement. And once again, congratulations to the winner of the Luthier Tool giveaway. That's already been sent out over a week ago. I hope the gentleman is happy with it. I'm sure he is because I added a few extra little tools in there to help him out. And hopefully sometime maybe in the fall I can afford to do something else as a little giveaway for the channel. All right, guys. Take care. God bless. This is Pastor Bob, and I'm out of here. See ya.